This is Robert of Ride to Walk, where I ride for mobility, calling everyone to come along for another adventure to like today. And we are on the Trail of Tears. There's a totem pole here, and it says this was carved by Archie Russ from a 100-year-old cedar. The tree was taken from eastern Tennessee, close to where the trail started. Faces on the pole represent the 7 different clans of the Cherokee Nation. At sunset each day, one can almost see the pain and fear increase as the shadows fall across the hand-carved faces, changing them into human forms. Each clan was known by its livelihood. They are as follows from bottom to the top on the pole: potato, bird, wolf, deer, paint, long hair, blue, and on top the eagle for guidance. The base represents the Cherokee seal, and the flags represent 8 states the trail crossed over. This was put up in '91, it looks like. So there's 8 flags here that are around this nice little monument. I sold stone, worked at a place for a year, so I appreciate flagstone, and I was in landscaping, so yeah, I like flagstone. They did a really good job putting this together. So we're going to turn the bike on first. So we can explore the park here. We're in Vienna, Illinois. And some may know, before I say exactly what trail we're on a Rails to Trail ride today. But first, there's a pretty decent park here I want to explore. I'll talk about it later, but I was here the other day, and well, it didn't go all that great, but it left me where I wanted to explore this park. Let's go around this way. There's a big circle around, and see, we've got gazebos and lots of picnic tables. If I went to the left there, it would say where we're at. Welcome to Vienna. Support the local shop. There's visitor information. I think this is cool. Little train setup. Along here there are places where there's like one picnic table and a barbecue pit, so people can stop and grill out. That is cool. Okay, I want to go beyond. There's a path here. Oh, I always like bridges, and I like creeks. This creek is fairly high. We've had quite a bit of rain the last month. So we got two, it looks like to the left, that just goes a little bit into town. Got a ranger station and Vienna High School to the right. So let's check this out. Yeah, this city, it's a little bitty town. Of course, I'm sure state money is doing it, but this is really nice. Okay, here we can go left, right, straight ahead. Left looks like it just goes into town. Let's take the gravel road. Looks like there's let's see, I want to make sure that I did zero yes, I did zero off the mileage before we started, so that's a good thing. We've got some Illinois soybeans here. They're looking good. Looking like they're a little behind where we're at. This is an hour north of me, but I think that I think that while we were having the drought, rains were missing us multiple times, so they may have actually had trouble planting. This is interesting. We've got it's like a burn pile to the left. And what's up top? Let's go. Oh, nice view. Yeah, we could ride all the way around this thing. It's not that, I don't think I will. I think I will ride a little bit, just to say I rode up on the Vienna, we'll call it levee. Oh, over to the left, you can see water coming in, so they're keeping this from being stagnant. I wasn't going to ride all the way around, but it's just so pretty up here. I think I will. Nice view. Sounds really shaky. I don't remember that shaky sound on previous rides on this bike. I put an extra bottle of water. Oh, we got some fishermen up here. Maybe I'll just turn around and call it right here. What this is, yeah, straight down that hill. Would be interesting. We've got a view of where that next path goes to. We'll see if it keeps making that shaking. I'm sure they can't. The audio is kind of irritates me. I've got metal fenders. I like the metal fenders because they're substantial, but yeah, they do make noise. So when you're picking out a bike, it might be something to consider. If you prefer to not have that noise, you might want your bike with plastic fenders, or some ride without fenders at all. I like the look of fenders, and though I don't ride it when it's wet, the occasional time comes up and I'd rather not be splattered. Nice downhill ride there. Oh yeah, it's scenic here in the clouds. I think those clouds have come in on the camera. Really. Postcard quality. Beautiful. All right. This is a good start to this ride. Before getting to the main attraction, we're finding some neat little parts as well to, let's just make the turn right here. So this must go to the high school, because it mentioned a high school. Okay, authorized personnel beyond this point, so that's a no. I was trying to go around the building the other way, because there's a guy walking here, but we'll figure it out. Here's Smokey. Fire danger today is on the low. Yeah, we've had lots of rain. So Hidden Springs Ranger Station, Shawnee National Forest. And So here is the Vienna Eagles. This is the high school. So where I'm from, the Graves County are also the Eagles. And Mayfield are the Cardinals. So they always have the Battle of the Birds. That's a big thing in town. The competition between, and the county school is much bigger than the city school, but the city school competes in sports. It's in a lower ranking. I think it's 1A, and Graves County, someone might know, I think they may be 3A or 2A, or they're definitely, and here this goes back to that same section can't go into. But the Cardinals compete, and the Cardinals win lots of championships in the football. Okay, so let's see where this sidewalk leads back to the ranger station on the left, and a map. Shawnee National Forest, Hidden Springs Ranger Station. So Hidden Springs Ranger Station. Let's see what we got. Trail of Tears. Kentucky and Illinois. Kentucky and Illinois map. So it's got Kentucky's part to it as well. Southernmost Illinois Shawnee Forest. We're in the, yeah, we're close to Kentucky here. And maybe while we're, let's see what is making that noise. I think I'm not going to be able to change it. It's, except for maybe I go back to the car and drop off of water. It's I added extra water, and it's that water that's crinkling. I don't think it'll be too bad while we're on the sidewalk. Let's see. Gotta get back on the, there was a little flagstone path. Past Smoky up again. Vienna City Park. Tunnel Hill State Trail. So yeah, that's where we're at. This is a little city or town of Tunnel Hill. We are 10 miles of trail away from the actual tunnel, which is pretty cool. These are rail to trails. So at one time there were trains that go through this tunnel, and this tunnel is long. It's huge, so it's quite a nice historic site to be able to ride through. Back over the bridge, and there was some kind of sign there. I think it said motorcycles, maybe something else, weren't allowed. It said that at one time. You couldn't really read it anymore. They are selling vegetables. That's a nice little crossover. Over here there is see, the path goes to the right, goes south, and then the path goes north up to the tunnel hill. And then this is Tunnel Hill, Illinois Department of Natural Resources. Oh, it's open. Yeah. I don't think it was open Friday. We have certain days, and there's another path to tell you where we're at. So before I start, I am going to drop off some water. In the car. That water on top of the water, I think, is what was causing the sound. And I think I'm going to change helmets, because this helmet, I can use the helmet cam. So I think we'll do that, and I can switch off to helmet view in some of the areas. I think this might be a one-way. Oh, it's one way to the left. This circle isn't. I really want to go to the right and go south, but we'll save that for another day. We're going to see Tunnel Hill today with a microphone. Yeah, with a microphone. Here we got a bridge. Yes, some of the best part of this ride since I did it Friday, is the bridges. Are the bridges. Yeah, I got here Friday, and somewhere between the house and getting out of the van, I lost the microphone. So I made this ride 10 miles without a microphone. So all I did was record a little session going through, because the wind's cut off there, going through the tunnel itself. Yeah, that was quite a downer. I had planned on going 40 miles, probably going another 10 miles up. But then when I didn't have my microphone, I'm like, I'll just turn around and go back. Do that another day. I might go up to Tunnel Hill today. And then well, there are options. We can push ahead. We can go 20 miles. So 10 miles past the Tunnel Hill. Or we can go 10 and then go 10 south. But maybe we'll do 20. We might break it up into a couple videos too. Might do 20 miles north, kind of see what's past Tunnel Hill. And then I can come back another day and go south too. I've got that nice brochure that I got there at Hidden Springs. They give me an idea of what is south. In a way, I kind of like it to be a mystery though. Because it's just fun to go on an adventure and have there be some surprise in it. There's a nice little country rock road off to the left that would be interesting to try. I should have, there was a way to that country road. We're going under 24 here. I should have 50 miles of range. I've got this question in my mind whether I actually charged it fully, because I tend to charge the bike with about an hour left. I'm figuring I've got maybe an hour or so left of charge, and then charge that right before I go on a ride. And I'm not sure if this got that. Very nice metal to the left. Now here's where if I had the, yeah, that would have been good. Hello. That's the reason to have the helmet cam. I like the chest cam because you get the perspective of seeing the handlebars and more of a feel of being on the ride. The helmet cam is definitely the way to go on the H9 though. It's just the way it's built. The handlebars are up high, and then the screen is right there. It's kind of right directly in the center of the view. And I noticed on the last ride I had a phone mount over here, and it was the one with the cover. That was terrible. That then blocked the whole left side, so I changed it. It ended up having to go on the H7 because that one wouldn't fit on here. It's too wide. I was gonna have these because these are walkies. I like them. I was gonna have a walkie one on each one. Yeah, this is I've read about these rails to trails, and I have the little experience of the little 1.5 mile one in Wingo that I go on. But it's nice to actually experience okay, we've got a creek to the left, and I imagine that flows pretty good from the looks of it. There's quite a bit of water in there now. When you're getting a good rain, that looks like it would flow fairly heavily. Yeah, okay, here it crosses. Yeah, I know at different points it's on the left. And the right of the trail. Yeah, the trail is just a postcard view the whole way. Again, this will be fun to see the change of colors in the fall through here, and also to see it in the winter. Early spring when the leaves are off the trees. So thankfully I had another mic, but it didn't help me out. My son asked me, "You didn't take it?" Well, no. Yeah, I was watching Russ's Right the other day, and well, I was kind of listening and doing some other stuff, and I had something I wanted to mention to him that I agreed with, and then by the time the video was over, I forgot what it was, and I told him that. And later, I remembered now, and that's what he was talking about. The DJI camera and mini mic, and how he used to on his old GoPro have to switch out the batteries all the time, and not so much now with the DJI. And I found, yeah, I mean, I've got an extra battery today because this is a long ride, but a battery on the DJI camera lasts a couple hours. So I was like, that's a lot of riding. And then the mini mic, they're just almost Yeah, the only reason you would take a second mic is if you were planning on using the receiver and talking to someone else and giving them a mic. But since I don't ever do that, one mic is plenty. So yeah, I agree with Russ. And Russ was the one when I was looking into what camera to get. He recommended the DJI, and on his recommendation, that's what I got. And then for a while I had, the microphone on my phone actually tended to work better than just the one on the camera when you're out in the wind, which isn't great, either one. If there's no wind, they may work all right. Here's a little tunnel, and obviously the trains didn't go through here. This has been built since the time that the rails went through here. But that was an interesting flower. But the DJI mini mic, he recommended that also then, because early on it's just, expense. I just got a corded mic. Yeah, that was a pain. And I was just playing around and was like, yeah, this is not. So I asked Russ, and he said the DJI mini mics work really well. And so I got one, and yeah, was immediately amazed at how well it worked. Where, early on I had trouble with the camera itself. At that point I was not at all enthralled with the camera, because there was a setting, I forget if it's loop or not loop, but it's kind of hard deep in the settings, you find it, and it was on that, and so everything was 30 seconds or 33 minutes. I could only make 3-minute videos, which was really a pain. It's like, well, that's not going to fit my desire for long form. 3-minute ride doesn't do anything. Yeah. But yeah, the creek's there to the right. Once we got that squared away and putting it on, because everyone said 60 frames per second and 4K. Well, 4K is great, but you can do a lot more, and I don't notice that much difference. Maybe it's my eyes. And for what you can do and storing it, I do have a gigabyte card. Just the 1080, the regular high definition is great for me. And then everyone said 60 frames per second. And when I was trying to figure out to make the videos longer, someone suggested 30 frames and put on 30. And for what I do, 30 frames per second is fine. I'm not doing high-speed stuff, so the only time now, here we go, here. The only time now that I get, let's see, when I rode to Paducah, that was 30 miles, and that was well over an hour, and at some point, yeah, it cut off the last, and it cut it off at a great place too, because I was like confused as to where I was at. Look at that. It's my fascination with creeks. Oh, I like up in there too. That looks like some interesting formation in the wintertime to be able to see. My version of stopping and smelling the roses. It's a nice trip, but break up once you're on the rail trail. A lot of it's alike. This is really cool here. You see the rock formations that I'm between. I think they cut their way through that when they made this trail. And there's another creek. How wide that is. You can imagine the flowing power when it's this bridge here looked like it needed a little bit of, it's going to need some maintenance. Here again we're place where they cut through the stone. Look at that. I think that's cool. Especially thinking of the time when they did it. You know, they didn't have all the technology. When this would have gone in. Again, it's all the different textured leaves through there. Got a big cottonwood right there. Oh, that's not a cottonwood. Anyone know what that is? Kind of looks like cottonwood leaves, but I look at the bark. That's a sycamore. This one, yeah, is showing some damage. They've placed a plate over right there. So to keep this going, they're going to have to do some maintenance. Let's see, we've gone 7.2 miles, which would mean we would have 3 miles to go, but I rode at least a mile around the grounds there, which were kept up really well. Me being a former grounds foreman, I see that stuff. Yeah, kind of. Once a grounds person, always a grounds person. Once a horticulturist, always. So I appreciate the great outdoors. And as I had on a video that just went out yesterday, I played the song that I made, I think it was last Monday, a little over a week ago. My son saw a tick on the wall at work, and he made a picture of it, sent it to me first thing in the morning. Another beautiful creek full of trees. He sent me that video, or sent me that picture, and just instantly that had to be a song. And so Don't Get Bit by That Tick became one of my newer songs. Yeah, I didn't think last week, just don't know. Just going into the week, I didn't know that if I would write any songs. And that started the week off, and it ended up, I wrote 4 or 5. Ended up every week, I think. I don't know if I have something for the Sunday school verse, which I don't yet this week. And lately it comes, and so I got that, and then a couple other ideas came, Christian, of what God thinks about death. This week's Sunday school verse is, "Before they call, I will answer. While they are yet speaking." Let's see, I think it's while they are yet speaking, I will hear, and before they call, I will answer. That's not maybe verbatim, but that's the thought. He hears, and as Christians, we immediately think of ourselves and make application to ourselves, and that's right to do so. I mean, the Old Testament was not written to us, one of the apostles says, but it was written for us, for our learning. And what I like, especially, when I was younger, I just liked all the application, and especially in the Old Testament, I didn't know much about it, and it's kind of scary. And Isaiah is perhaps in some ways the least organized, but there's the most of the gospel too. It's a great book. Yeah, it's a book that the higher critics want to destroy because 47 chapters out of the 66 are quoted from or alluded to by the Lord and the apostles, New Testament writers. So if you kick the feet out from under Isaiah, then yeah, I think they're under, and they are in an evil way undermining, yeah, the foundation of Christianity. But oh, this is just, I don't know how well that, it's really deep. It's straight down. There's a creek down at the bottom. It's nice. So I enjoy now trying to understand at least a little bit the context of, here's some more rock formations we're going through. Beautiful rock formations. I like having the context. Oh, this is, you just come out into the sun, and this is really high up. There's a big creek down there. What is full-grown trees all throughout the creek. Pretty cool. So the context of that verse, really that whole section, the end of Isaiah, is millennial. It's talking about the day when the Lord returns and sets up his kingdom. And so it's really encouraging to understand the actual meaning that I believe God has as the primary meaning before I apply it to myself. And when I understand the contextual meaning, not trying to be deep, but when I understand that, it doesn't take away from the application that in his omnipotence, God he sees before I call. He knows my heart. He knows what's in front of me before I see it. He's working things out that way. Well, if I see that that's really talking about Israel, that's a whole nation, then it's an interesting little, just a fence. Another creek. Then, if before they call, I will answer, the whole nation, well then certainly he'll do that as well for one that he has saved. And I believe here comes an e-bike. Haven't seen many people today. There were more on Friday. Hello. That one may not have been an e-bike. There's the TVA lines. And right there needs to be cut, but they do a pretty good job of keeping it clear underneath the lines here. TVA does, Tennessee Valley Authority. Some of the reason there are a lot of these fires in other places because they don't do the environmental management, environmental sciences, they don't clear cut well, and so you've got kindling underneath, and it goes up, and you lose power. Having been in grounds, I think about those things. I don't know what that was. That sounded like a big branch fell. Anyway, getting back to before they call, I believe there's a specific, and there's applications, and we know the apostles applied verses clearly that wasn't their main meaning, so they give us the ability we can apply verses. That's good, and we need that because we need practical instruction. But I believe it's talking about the same day that Psalm 118. See, we're talking Isaiah 65:24 is the verse we're talking about. And in Psalm 118, there is here's a huge bridge, and there are, like that other one, trees. Let's go to one of these lookouts. Wow. So those trees don't have to lack for water, and they have to be okay with wet feet, as we call it in the horticultural sphere. Something that doesn't like wet feet, not going to be able to grow there, because they're always going to be wet. So in Psalm 118, there is a time when Israel right now is like having some good, and we want to see good things happen for them. I love them, but I also know prophecy has them going through some terrible times to come. There's a tribulation ahead that is going to be worse than the Holocaust. A third of the Jews were wiped out in the Holocaust, and this says 2/3 of them will be wiped out. Look at this rock. Stop and smell the roses. 2/3 will be wiped out. So, and in the tribulation, so they're going to be purged. And the real believers, we're talking about clear cutting, and actually we're not seeing, we're seeing it needs to be done here. This is perhaps the worst I've seen of a TVA line. See that there? Now if it dries out in a month, that's a lot of kindling. I'm sure as fast as things have grown, that's probably a priority right now. But where were we? Israel losing 2/3, and then at the end of this tribulation, they are going to be, there's times and seasons for Israel. Sometimes Christians talk about that. Times and seasons are for Israel. We just know we're waiting for the Lord to come back. They have times and seasons. And from the time Christians are taken out of this world, from that day, and then there's going to be a setting up of really won't be that day. Whenever there's going to be an agreement signed for peace, and they'll be able to start counting days to know when he's going to come back. And they're going to go through such terrible strife, and then they're going to know the days. It's like, here come a couple bikes. Hello. They're going to know he is due back, and the work is going to be done, and they're going to be ready. They're going to be saved now. That's what Hosanna means, save now. They're gonna cry out for the return of their Messiah, and at that time, he will hear and send them. But before they call, he hears and answers, and he's setting all that up now. The difficulty that the nation's going to have to go through. He sees that too, he knows it, but it's going to be purified. And then in Romans 9, it says, 9? Actually 11. Romans chapter 11 says, all Israel shall be saved. Yeah. What comes through that is a purified people believing in their Messiah and their God. And then Isaiah 53 happens. And people, yeah, they're gonna say, wow, he was wounded for our transgression, he was bruised. We didn't see it, we missed it. But before they call, he will answer. He's already answered. It's there right in the scriptures. They're going to see a lot of these things during that time. We got more rock formations that they cut through right here. And so, if he directs and can control all that for them, and has told us about it ahead of time, and when it happens, we'll, in my own life, I can believe that he does the same as well. He hears even before so then do I not pray? Because no, he wants prayer. In Song of Solomon, he says that it's kind of a picture there for us. He's the beloved, and he's the bridegroom. He wants to see her face. He wants to hear her voice. And so it is. There was a tree across the way, but
blocked by what was on the other side. And let's see, are we here? No. We've gone 11.6. We may be. We're close. There is a little lake down there to the left. Now this is not, yeah, and I was thinking, yeah, I think I may have said back there, we weren't in Tunnel Hill. We were in Vienna and the Hidden Springs. That's the name of the ranger station. We're actually driving to Tunnel Hill. It's a little town. So that Vienna is the one that has a really nice park there. And then the trail going. Now we're getting to Tunnel Hill, where the tunnel is. And Gorville is a little town here. That's, I think that's where Fern Cliff is in or right next to Gorville. Some nice rocks there on the right. Looks like they've been strategically placed there. Yeah, we can see the tunnel now ahead. I think we are here. So 12.2 miles, which means we drove around 2 miles around about 2 miles around the park before yeah, the rock formations here, they cut through left and right. I mean, they're just stop and see how high those walls are. And they cut through, and got to a point where, you know, they couldn't. It was too much. So they made a tunnel right through the. So we get to right here now. It's no longer a chat path. It's see, there's they dug that tunnel, and that's a lot of concrete. When we get in there, it's really dark and it's cool. If I come here in the summer when it's really hot, it's like going into air conditioning. Let's see, I gotta turn my lights on. Well, this one light doesn't want to, my extra light's not coming on. There it is. Yeah, it's the one that's, the others are long push and that one's not a long push. So it always confuses me. So between the two, it's really, really dark in here. It would be better if that light could point down a little bit, would help me in here, but it doesn't. There's just no way to, with all the other stuff. But yeah, it's nice and cool in here. And then I guess in the wintertime, it's probably in the middle, it's probably is the warmest place in the area. Because it mediates that temperature year round. Yeah, I'm actually using my throttle. I don't throttle very often. I am a peddler. I just use the throttle for balance to start and to get through intersections. And so we made it out of Tunnel Hill, and it's immediately just a little bit out and you're in good solid road. And then we're cut through, there's a big cut through the rock for some time. And there's the view also of the other side. And we'll call this a video. Like and subscribe if you made it this far for more adventures to like.